Welcome to A Kind Life. Today I'm really grateful to have Livai Smith here. How are you going, Levi?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I was very shocked that you asked me, but I'm also very honored. So thanks for having me on the show.
No, my absolute pleasure. Now, I do always like to share, I guess, how I know people or how I've come across them, how our paths have crossed. And with you, I think it's just a great story. It's very, I suppose, relevant to this podcast and also our vegan community. You know, we come across people at different things. And in our case, it was at an event, actually at a fundraiser I was running for Victorian Lamb Rescue at a bake sale. And yeah, we just came across each other there and we had a chat about the podcast actually. And then we've just sort of connected because you have a great idea that I'm sure we'll talk about later on. And yeah, I just thought you're a great, genuine person, someone that, you know, I can see you've got great vision, something you want to do, be able to achieve in this movement. And I thought it'd be great to connect. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That was a nice little that was a very nice intro to me. You made me sound like an angel, but thank you.
So I guess for people that don't have the pleasure of knowing you, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I guess I'm an athlete. I play basketball. I've also in the last couple of years got into modeling and then even more recently acting. So I've really kind of been pursuing those last two quite a bit as of recently. Been playing basketball since I was probably 10 years old. Still playing, love it. It's my passion. And I guess more relevant to show, I've been vegan for 2 years now. And yeah, it was really nice and genuine how we met at that bake sale. And I feel like it's been great meeting people who are plant-based or vegan, and it's a real kind of like thing that people can connect with. And I've only ever met such genuine people who have that same sort of outlook on life. So yeah, that's a little bit about me, I guess, a little brief.
Yeah. And so that's pretty incredible that you've been playing basketball since you were 10. So I think you're recently turned 30, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah. So about 20 years.
Yeah, 20 years.
How did you get started? Was it through like school or friends, just an interest? How did you get started in basketball?
Um, it was just my parents putting me into basketball at the young age. I guess like most parents, you know, they put their kids into various sports and music and drama and whatever. And yeah, I played a multitude of sports at growing up, and I don't know, basketball just really stuck with me. People always ask me like, what made you like really love basketball and stick to it? And I can't really remember, but I must have just enjoyed it more than the others as a kid. And I think I was also very tall as a kid, so that probably helped.
I was going to say you have a height advantage.
20 years. Well, it's funny because as a kid, I was always the tallest, but you probably think I'm tall now, but I'm actually probably one of the shortest guys in the team. So it's funny that.
That is funny. Because how tall are you?
I'm like about 188, 189. So roughly about 6'2". But I play with like 7-footers, so they make me look like a midget.
And tell us, because I think you've played for various teams. So who are you playing for at the moment?
Currently, I'm playing for Melbourne Tigers. And yeah, I've played with them before in the past. Currently playing in the NBL 1 competition. So that's kind of the semi-professional league just below the NBL, which is the pro league. Yeah.
Do you have aspirations? Like, I know that recently I saw one of your posts, you know, it sort of seems like you've maybe been reviewing your passion for basketball and, you know, your aspirations. So tell us, I guess, I'm intrigued to know, like, is it something you want to continue to pursue and get to that, you know, pro level?
Yeah, it's funny. I've really spent the last several years really pursuing basketball. I moved to Melbourne. I don't know if I've told you this, but I'm from Sydney originally. So I moved to Melbourne in 2017, so just over 5 years ago. And I kind of made that move to really make a push for basketball. And, you know, I was on an upward trajectory for quite a few years. And in 2020, I was actually planning on heading over to Europe and play professionally. I was feeling ready. I'd really been training a lot, been improving on my game. I'd made all these connections, and I was literally at the point of starting to talk to teams, and COVID happened.
Wow.
And obviously, a lot of people, COVID kind of affected a lot of people in whatever they were doing, and it's not something I'm like sad about, but it was kind of a upward trajectory I was on that really got halted by COVID. And then COVID happened. I met my partner. Now we have a kid. Everything kind of happened really fast during COVID because I guess, you have nothing to do but hang out with this person. And yeah, like I said, I randomly got scouted for modeling. Modeling kind of got me into acting, doing like certain adverts and whatnot. And suddenly I've come out of COVID with all these new aspirations, all these new paths that I can take, and a baby to take care of. And suddenly, the basketball dream kind of isn't as big as it once was. Don't get me wrong, I still feel capable and I still would want to play at the pro level. And I still think I could definitely get there. But I think, like you said, I made that post earlier this year. I had to kind of reevaluate and just really kind of, I guess, prioritize where I see my future to be. Because like you said, I have just turned 30. And as an athlete, you're a bit of a ticking time bomb. 35 roughly is kind of like the end of the career for most athletes. I am vegan, so maybe 40. But yeah, I guess priorities kind of come into place and they've kind of changed as of recent.
I guess it's a bit of watch this space, see what the universe has in store for you. Because I'm guessing, a year ago or 2 years ago, you might not have thought this would be where you are now. So you never know.
Exactly. Yes. Always have to trust the universe.
And I think as well, from what I've seen, you've been involved in like coaching as well with basketball, and I suppose like investing, reinvesting what you know into the younger generation. That's pretty cool. Is that something you're passionate about?
Yeah, it really is. That's also something I was kind of really gunning for pre-COVID. Me and a friend actually started our own coaching and training business late 2019. Again, it kind of got halted by COVID. But post-COVID, I've started to get back into it. And yeah, I think it's really something that I'm passionate about as well. I think this game, the basketball as a game, kind of given me a bit of a purpose, and it's really kind of been a driver, and it's really allowed me to, I guess, keep my mind on a goal and an aspiration. And I think that's helped me out much mentally, physically. It's kept me fit, obviously. But I think, just like I said, more than anything, a purpose. And I would love to obviously give that love and that passion and that purpose to the youth. And yeah, I really love working with kids and watching develop and grow and get better and enjoy themselves and have that same love for the game. It's something that you can't explain. It's just really special. And yeah, that's I guess why I love to coach and train.
And I'm pretty intrigued to know about your vegan journey and how that has integrated with basketball. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so I went, I guess, I don't really know exactly when I officially went vegan, but it was about this time 2 years ago. It was about 2020, June, July-ish. And it's funny, I had a few friends that were vegan, vegetarian, and they kind of really inspired me to not become vegan not to become fully vegan, but to kind of like just eat a little bit more cleaner. And I think that's where it started. And that was probably like 2018. And kind of as I started to really concentrate on, I guess, diet and like health, and then basketball became more of a focus for me, I really wanted to kind of be at my optimal health and my optimal, I guess, physical being, so that I could perform at my optimal physical peak. So as I became cleaner with my diet, I kind of started watching and listening and reading a few a few vegan nutritionists and sports people, and I kind of came to the point where I thought, you know what, I can see being vegan as probably the healthiest I could be, not only for now but for the future. And I think longevity was a big kind of like point in that as well. Um, then I met my partner who's vegan, and whenever we went out, basically she didn't ever want to go to non-vegan places because she was very sus on them. So I kind of made the decision like, look, I've been reading and like really into this whole vegan movement. I think I want to do it. So we might as well do it. It's going to be easy for you. I've been going there anyway. And so I decided, let's do it. So it was a little bit of a help from her as well.
That's pretty awesome. I didn't know that. See, I'm learning. I didn't know how you went vegan. It's cool that Chantel had a pretty big part in it. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
That
She's
so
been
cool.
vegan for about 6 or 7 years now. So yeah, she definitely played a big role.
And I guess what was, the reaction of some of your teammates or even your friends, especially being an athlete?
Well, funnily enough, I actually had a lot of people ask me for advice, ask me, how I'm doing it, what to eat, all the classic questions, where do you get your protein, where do you get your iron? So no, I had no negative reactions or no negative comments or anything. People were just intrigued, if anything.
Because people who are athletes, are looking for that kind of competitive advantage, I'm guessing it was probably quite well received within your teammates, and because you are trying to be your best. Whereas I know, especially for other young men, like whether it be just they've decided to do this for their animals and things, they may not have had such a great reception. So did you ever receive, I guess, any of that kind of like, toxicity around, masculinity or around why you were doing this?
Honestly, I received no toxicity, which again, yeah, it was really nice because yeah, you would assume that, right? I mean, you hear of the stories, and obviously there's a lot of people out there that are very pro meat and obviously masculinity and stuff. Um, I think I must be like well respected in my community, that no one would come at me like that. And I guess it would be different if I wasn't performing and if I was getting pushed around and and people saw me as weak. Maybe they would say those sort of comments. But honestly, like no one is able to push me around, and I'm very competitive and I play very hard. So I don't think anyone could come at me with any sort of weakling vegan comment at all.
I think as well, you probably did it at a great time because, documentaries like Game Changers have come out and they really,
Yeah.
explain. A lot of people who may not even be vegan or vegetarian have watched it and they understand the benefits of it from a health and from an athlete's perspective.
Yeah, exactly. It was funny. Like, yeah, that documentary came out like just after, or even maybe during, like when I fully turned vegan, and yeah, a lot of people thought I did it because of that documentary. But yeah, no, it's great that I think there's a lot of like new information coming out, showing that obviously being vegan, it isn't a detriment to oneself in terms of health or athletic performance. And yeah, I guess Simon Hill, I don't know if you know him, but he's one of my big um, kind of influences in terms of the whole vegan nutrition and sports specific kind of like scene. And yeah, he's been a great podcaster to listen to. I've nearly listened to every single one of his podcasts. So yeah, there's so much information out there now. I think which is great.
Yeah, absolutely. And so tell us about moving into modeling and acting.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, when COVID hit, one door somewhat closed with the basketball, but another one opened. And yeah, I randomly got scouted by someone on Instagram. And they asked me to be part of the editorial and asked me if I did any modeling, and I hadn't at that point. And they asked me if I wanted to, and I was like, look, why not, I guess. And one thing led to another. They put me in front of an agency, and I signed in about March 2020. And it's been great. I've done shoots with the likes of like Bonds and Superdry and Birkenstock and New Balance. And yeah, it really came out of nowhere, to be honest. And it was funny because a lot of the models that I work with, man, some of them are still in high school. Like they're all really in their young 20s. So it's kind of funny. I was like this 28, 29, now 30-year-old, like working with all these like 20, 21-year-olds. And I feel like most people are starting their modeling career at that age. And I just happen to randomly be the old guy. But it's actually been really great because I think when I was younger, I don't think I would have had the right mental state or maturity to enter that field. But I think at an older age, I can kind of take everything with a grain of salt. I don't take it too seriously. I really just have fun with it. I'm able to just make friends with everyone. And yeah, I think it could possibly be, I mean, obviously you have the stigma of the toxicity around, body weight and stuff and modeling stuff. But I think I like being an mature aged model, and just, yeah, kind of like take everything with a grain of salt. So it's been good.
And what about acting? Where did this start?
Yeah. So one of the jobs that I got was the first acting role I got was in this Bonds campaign. And it was no spoken word, but more just action, advert sort of thing. And they had little script for us, and you had to go here and do this, and it was kind of fun. Like we did these like mud fights and like our undies, and like we're like trekking through this like river in our undies, and we're like cooking these like snags in our undies. Obviously it's Bonds, right? So and I just really enjoyed it. I loved being on set. I loved kind of just like having fun with it. It was really enjoyable. I did a couple more. I did another one with New Balance. And yeah, I just really enjoyed the kind of, I guess the action of like really moving and doing stuff. And it was fun. Kind of like, I guess, compared to like the static, just modeling, standing in a pose, changing a pose. And so I was like, I want to pursue this. So I ended up going and starting acting school at Brave Studios this year. And yeah, that's kind of this is the start of my acting career. It's very fresh, but I like to kind of speak it into the universe and say I'm an actor so that it will manifest and eventuate. So yeah, that's kind of why it's in my using Instagram profile right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. And do you have any thoughts about the type, like, do you want to continue doing sort of like short pieces, or would you be happy to do anything like in terms of acting?
I would be happy to do anything. I'm really keen to just like be thrown in the deep end with like anything. I think I'm a quick learner, and I land on my feet pretty well. So yeah, if anyone's out there needs a long-haired vegan, choose me. I'm actually the perfect vegan. I've got long hair, that's curly. I can be that guy.
Stereotypical vegan, is that what you're saying? That should be part of your profile.
Yeah. I can be like the tanned what's that guy? Ed Oh, who's that guy on Instagram? Ed. His name's like Ed. He's like English
Oh,
vegan
Earthling Ed.
activist.
Earthling Ed.
Earthling Ed. I can be the tanned Earthling Ed.
I can see the resemblance now that you mention it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so tell us about your beautiful baby boy, Rylan. So he's a couple of months old now. So like you said, that was probably also previously not in your plan, but what a beautiful blessing. So tell us about fatherhood.
Yeah, we're me and Chantel are really blessed. He turned 2 months yesterday. It's crazy. Already 2 months. It's really true what they say. Time just flies with when you have a kid. But yeah, we're so blessed. I don't think I've told you this, but we actually went through a stillbirth March last year with our first. So Ryland's our rainbow child, and we definitely went through a pretty hard time last year with all that, especially Chantel. Physically, emotionally, mentally. So we're so happy to have Ryland in our life, and he's absolutely adorable. You've met him. He's such a funny little boy. We love his fussing. We love his crying. We love his smile. It's so cool. He really, the last few weeks, he really can notice you, and he recognizes me and Shan, and he smiles when he sees us, and it's the best thing, just this seeing him notice you and smile. It just melts your heart. And fatherhood, yes, father's been great. I've always wanted to be a father. This wasn't in the plans pre-COVID, but I've always wanted to be somewhat of a young dad growing up, and I feel like I've always had pretty strong paternal instincts. So yeah, I definitely didn't shy away when we found out that we were pregnant both times, and yeah, we're both just so happy. We're both loving parents who are just so happy to have him in our life. So yeah.
Yeah, I can see. Had the pleasure of meeting him on the weekend, and he's he's so gorgeous. But I can definitely tell you both adore him, and he's very lucky. I know that as well. I met one of your friends there as well, Joey, and I can tell that you've got a great network of friends and potentially family that are there to support you as well. And yeah, he's an absolute little gorgeous little boy. Lots of photos and videos and things on your Instagram, so I'm sure people can check that out.
Yep, they can. There'll be many more to come as well.
Absolutely. And yeah, I hadn't heard from yourself personally, but I did see that. And I think, in terms of your first baby, Bobby, it's like really incredible, that you've both been able to share that. I'm sure it would have been an extremely traumatic and horrible time for you guys. But like you've said, before, that other people have gone through that as well. And I'm sure that it's helpful for people to understand, what you went through and how you processed that and how you're moving forward, and also, having your second child now. So it's very brave for both of you to share that part of your journey and be able to talk about it. So thank you for sharing.
No worries. Thank you. Yeah, I think it's very important to share as well. It's hard, and I can totally understand why people wouldn't share it with people, because it's obviously very personal, and I guess we found it important to share because we didn't want to we didn't want to we didn't want to normalize it, but just make it aware that that stillbirths do happen, and miscarriages as well. And I didn't even know the difference between miscarriage and a stillbirth before we had Bobby. So just educating people on these things, and it's a part of life. So yeah, it's important for people to be aware of.
Yeah. And I really get the sense from you, Levi, that, you have this great, I guess, like positivity or positive nature about yourselves, but also as well that, you know, you really do, I suppose, as I say, your vibe attracts your tribe, and, you know, you do really value that sense of community. So I'm guessing that's probably one of the positives you found out of like veganism, is finding some of these friendships and connections.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's funny. You obviously, you know, Joey now. You met him on the weekend, and you had his yummy brownies and blondies at your guys' bake sale. And it's funny. He always tells me, because we also work together. And he always tells me, he's like, man, oh, I love just having a vegan friend, and like we can go to vegan places and eat vegan food together. Like, oh, it's just so good. And it's so true. Like, it must be hard for someone who's vegan to have no vegan friends, and they can't go to these vegan places and truly appreciate this vegan food, because, you know, you can be non-vegan and have vegan food, obviously, and you might like it, but there's a special thing that happens when you are really vegan and you get to experience that with other vegan people. So yeah, I think it's really cool, creating a community of vegans, but not just vegans, but just like-minded people. I've met so many great people who aren't vegan but have similar mindsets and positive outlook on life, and mindfulness. And yeah, I think it's really important to create that sort of tribe and community around you. So yeah, I've actually been very fortunate since moving to Melbourne to create a nice little community around me, which has been really cool.
And that's something I'd love to talk about. Is so when we did first meet at the previous bake sale, I'm seeing a bit of a trend here, always around food. But anyway, we did
Yeah,
talk.
that's me. That's
Yeah.
literally me to a T. Food.
Yeah, I can verify you're a good eater. You guys went through lots of baked goods on the weekend.
One of everything.
Pretty much. But you did, when we first met, you spoke to me about, this idea that you and your partner had to like come together and try and create that sense of community. Do you want to tell us about that? Is that something you're still interested in doing in the future?
Yes. So that's actually an idea I had with Joey, not Chantel.
There you go.
And yeah, we want to we're kind of working on creating this vegan community and just bringing people together with food, because who doesn't like food? It's a great way to fundraise, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we kind of had an idea to bring people together, allow people to kind of bring their own food as well, so a bit of a potluck, and just allow people to kind of meet other like-minded people, like we were talking about, vegans, non-vegans as well, and like you said, create a community, create a tribe, and just allow people to connect, because I don't really know of much of that out there for vegans and vegetarians. There probably is, I just don't know it. But yeah, it's an idea that we've had for a while, and we're working on. I haven't had much time lately because of Ryland to continue working on it, but it's definitely something that we're looking to build on. Yeah.
So if anyone's listening, I guess, that might either be interested to come along, or even if there's someone that, might be happy to bake something or cook something, and, just, I suppose, maybe watch your page or get in touch if they're interested in getting involved.
Yes, 100%. We're also wanting to have live music. So we have a lot of musical friends in our tribe, in our community. And any other musicians, I don't know if you know, Alicia, but Joey is actually a poet and a singer as well. So any other musicians that want to jump on board and work with us as well, hit us up, because would love everyone and anyone to be with us.
Yeah, awesome. It'll be, so I'm really looking forward to it. It's something, that we did mention right from the start. And I know you've been very busy, but definitely keen to, see this grow, because like you said, it's something that I think will get some legs, and it won't just be a once-off thing. Hopefully it's something that can happen regularly in the future.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's what we're planning on. Something really regular. And I think probably we'll start up when the weather does become a little bit better in spring. So yeah,
Awesome.
look out and yeah, check out the page and yeah, there'll be more on it soon.
Yeah, awesome. And so I guess for anyone, especially like young males, do you have any advice to them about like going vegan or transitioning into vegan lifestyle? Is there anything I guess you'd like to share from your perspective?
Yeah, I think one great thing, obviously everyone, well, not everyone, but most people have socials, right? So I think finding, some good vegan role models on Instagram to follow, I think that's something great to do. Nimai Delgaro is one guy who I follow. He's really great. Obviously, he's a bodybuilder, so he has that masculine physique. But he's very into his mindfulness, and he's very, for lack of a better word, woke. Um, and he's someone to really kind of like listen to, and he has his own podcast as well, which is great. So yeah, I think finding people on Instagram and the socials to follow would be a good start. And then just learning how to cook. I think that's one thing that not just being vegan, but just everyone in general should learn to do. Know how to cook. Know what foods are. And then if going vegan, just understand and research what sort of meals you can cook. And I think start simple. Learn how to cook 1 or 2 meals and buy a cookbook if you have to. Go to the supermarket, buy all the ingredients you need, and go home and cook it. Because I think if you can learn to cook for yourself, it will become a lot easier. I was Chantel, who's vegan for 6 years and happens to be an amazing cook. So I basically got fed like a child for basically the last 2 years. But I also love to cook, which I don't get to do as much because she is the queen of the kitchen now and kicks me out whenever I try. But still, that would be a skill that I would say to learn. And yeah, like I said, buy a vegan cookbook, and just follow the recipe. I think that would be the best way to kind of go about, in a dietary sense.
Yeah, amazing. And I guess if people want to reach out, if they have any questions specific to you and your journey, is the best place for them to do that on Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram would be the best. Yeah, at vi.
I'll link that in the show notes. And then if anyone wants to reach out or if they want to follow your journey, see what you're doing, you've got lots coming up and lots changing. So it'll be great to see where this leads.
Yep, thank you.
And is there anything before we finish up? Is there anything we might have missed that you did want to mention or talk about?
Yeah, I think one thing that I've really, and I have a quote here, which I'm sure you're going to ask me in a second, that refers to this. But I think one thing that I have really kind of realized at my ripe old age of 30, is that having a purpose and having a passion can really kind of give you a life of fulfillment. And I think I've been lucky enough at a younger age to realize that, and I've really kind of pursued and tried to attain goals that are for my passions and interest. And I think it's the journey that I've enjoyed the most. I haven't necessarily reached that professional goal, but just the journey in itself and everything that I've done and being able to do what I'm passionate and I love has made my life the happiest I could think of. So I think if I had any advice or anything that I would want to say to anyone that's listening to this, it's that, as cliche as it sounds, do what you love.
I feel as though, you do practice some of the like mindfulness techniques and things, and, you're quite an emotionally intelligent person. Like, I'm really intrigued to find out, have you always been that way, or is it something you've developed in the last few years?
I think it's definitely something I've developed in the last few years. Look, everyone goes through their own journey, right? Everyone matures at their own rate and their own stage. Women probably mature a little bit faster than men, I'd say. But yeah, it's funny. In my later 20s, I've definitely kind of had a better understanding on life and what it really means to live. And like I said, to live with purpose, live doing what you love. And yeah, it's definitely something that you get at an older age. I guess for me, there's other people like Joey, right, who's like 24, and he has the same mindset as me. I wish I was like that at 24. I'd probably be already somewhere crazy doing great things right now at the age of 30, but that's okay because we're all different. We're all on our own path. But yeah, I think it's just time and experience.
Yeah. Yeah, no, because someone new met you the other day, Karen, one of the ladies at the bake sale, and she definitely said, you know, after you guys left, yourself and Joey, you know, she said, what fantastic guys, like such great, you know, role models, because she's got sons herself, and she said, you know, God, I wish that my boys were hanging out with like men like this, you know. So I think it's a real, you know, I suppose compliment to yourselves and a real recognition that, you know, you both are, fantastic like role models and, you know, people that it's great to have in the movement, because sometimes young men can struggle with, you know, feeling like they have people on a similar wavelength. Yeah, I think it's a real, you know, positive to both of you that that's recognized, you know, from someone that met you for, you know, 20 minutes on the day.
That's very nice of her, and I think she might be sending her sons to do some boxing training with Joey, which is cool.
Yeah.
And that is such a compliment. But you know, I've got to say that I have a lot more to work on, and I'm very thankful that you guys see me as emotionally intelligent, and you know, I'll take it, but at the same time, you know, I definitely have my things that I need to work on, and I think everyone does, right? You know, I think you never end that journey of self discovery and working on yourself and trying to be the best person you are, all the way up until the day you die. So yeah, thank you, and yeah, still working.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. It's been great to share your story with this community. And I look forward to, it's definitely when you do organize your first event, I'd love to share it and hopefully get some people that listen to this and have listened to your episode come along and meet you in person.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to meet anyone that comes, and yeah, I'm excited to build that tribe in that community.
To finish up the episode, Levi, do you have a favorite quote that you'd like to share?
I do. And it goes like this. It is from a book called Identity, which is a good friend of mine, Alexander Gill. And it goes, age wrinkles the body, but quitting wrinkles the soul. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Levi. Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Leisha.